Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sunday. It's Culture Kings in the house with yours truly, your moderator, your man, DJ Ronnie Brown, Dorian Edwards, God's mouthpiece, Ron Stoppable, and Quiet Storm. What's going on, Kings? How you doing?
What's good? What's good?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, light it up. Light that.
Whose bike? What? No. My bike. What's going on? Yes, Culture Kings. You all go ahead on and spread the word out there. We got a great show lineup for you. Awesome guests that's going to break it down to you. But first and foremost, we definitely want you all to go ahead on and support one of the kings that are on here already. Okay? Yeah.
You know, Lord. Stop again. Just got some things in my mind, heavy in my heart. I just want to talk to you, Father.
That's right. Breath prayers. Okay. Go and stream it. Go download it. Hey, spread it all around. Breath prayers featuring the king right here, Ron Stop, and the late king, Bizop. All right, rest in heaven, there, brother. So yeah. Man, so fellas, man, how y'all feeling today?
Man, I'm elevated, man. I'm elevated.
You elevated, man?
I'm elevated, man. I'm elevated.
Okay,
man.
Yeah, you lifted?
I'm uplifted, definitely uplifted. And with the topic for the day,
yes,
we're all going to get lifted, in knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
yes.
Definitely,
excited about it.
Definitely about to engage in some higher learning.
Yeah.
Some higher learning, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you messed up the rotation when you skipped over rhyme. But anyway, I'm going to leave that alone.
What's that?
Okay, yeah.
You messed up the rotation, but that's all.
You messed up the rotation, yeah, because you got to go to your left, man.
Well, my bad. Okay,
Yeah.
what's up, big
That
Los?
went over the head, mouthpiece. Yeah.
Hey, yo, yeah, he's not ready. Hey, yo, Carlos.
Yes.
Chocolate Cook King is in the
We say
building.
about the chocolate cookies.
Chocolate Cook King is in the building, Holmes.
Chocolate Cook King. All right.
What up, Los?
What's up, Los? Hey, Danny, what's going on, my brother? Hey,
Danny. What's up, bro?
Peace.
Hey,
Salute
you all.
to the King Danny.
Yes. Hey, you all share this out. All right, share it. Okay. Well, look, we don't have any announcements, anything. Real quick. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. Royal Rhetoric, Culture Kings. Okay, and yeah, we are on there, and go subscribe to our YouTube page, Royal Rhetoric on YouTube. All right, we love to connect with you out there. And matter of fact, it's playing right now, this particular video. So we're live streaming on 8 different platforms. So again, spread the word. Anything else, fellas?
Really quick. I guess I don't know if you can see it, man, but I like that shirt Ron Stop got on over there. Flosser, man. What's up with that, man?
Hey, man, you got some dope online vendors out here, man, that's just changing the game, man, and, putting out brands that speak to the heart and mindset of the culture, man. So I get behind anything that does that. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Hey, you speak that talk, King, man. I like the way that you just you a walking advertisement. I like that. Son.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely out here supporting black business. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't have that shirt on, but I'm definitely I'm jelly just a little bit that I didn't jump on it early.
I hear you. All right.
You got opportunity, man. It'll be posted on the Culture Kings page. Check it out.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, without further ado, man, we want to bring this Culture King up, who I've known personally for over 30 years. He saw me when I first started DJing. Yes, when DJ Ronnie Ron was born, pretty much. And I'm talking about the persona, and then I was DJing at his club back in the day called Common Ground. It was the first Christian nightclub I ever heard of, and first one I ever DJ'd at in Orlando, Florida. And so I thank God for him, and you all about to be blessed by what this brother has to say. So without further ado, let's welcome to the royal court here, All right. Hey, Mr. Rick Upleger. How you doing, Rick?
Hey guys.
Slick Rick.
Hey, Rick.
He's
Good.
a slick Rick. Huh?
Slick Rick.
Yes, welcome, Rick, man. Welcome to Culture Kings Royal Rhetoric, man. Thank you so much. As we talk about the subject, cannabis oil versus CBD oil. Yes, a lot of you may have questions. Feel free to go ahead and comment or ask your questions in the chat room down there or the comment section and join in on this dialogue. All right. So, man, Rick, man, how's things going with you, sir?
Oh, things are awesome. You know, it's just it's been a wild ride in the last 30 years since I knew you back in the day when you were 18, 19 years old. You're just a little kid back then, man. Now you're big time.
I'm all grown up now.
I know it. I'm proud of
He's
you,
all
man.
grown up.
Man, but yes, man, and just life is just so interesting. We put wonderful people in your path, so you know you want to cherish those relationships, guys. And yes, hey, so let's get into this subject again. We're talking about cannabis oil, CBD oil, smoking weed, all that, whatever. Hey,
Whatever it is,
everything's on the table here. Okay, hey, so spread the word. So, who wants to go first? Go ahead. One of you kings, go ahead and ask the question first.
All right, so Rick, we chopped it up. We chopped it up just a little bit prior to the show. But could you could you give a brief background of how you got started and the successes and the blessings that you've seen in your journey and your travels?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it started basically. I used to live in Orlando a long time ago. Then I moved to Nashville and lived there for quite a while, and then moved on from there after a divorce, and life just went downhill after that. So I took off, and I came out here to Denver, Colorado, and all of a sudden things opened up. The business opened up. Everything was happening out here. I started paying attention to the medical side of what the legalization of marijuana became and started looking at that and seeing that it was really helping people. There were just lots of different things going on with a strain called Charlotte's Web. It was very well known throughout the United States, helping a little girl named Charlotte that was having grand mal seizures. And it turns out that strain of cannabis, when an extraction was made from it and given to her, it completely cured her seizures. So that really intrigued me. And from that point, I started thinking about what was going on and with how I could be involved, because I don't know, just something in my heart told me there's something more to this than just running down to the store and getting high, coming home and getting
okay.
It's this. If that's what you like doing, that's your business. I'm not here to judge people. It's legal here. You can go do that. You can go buy, a 6-pack, or you can go buy some weed and and have a Saturday night, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, it actually came down. My brother started helping his girlfriend's mother. And I'll try to make it quick. I get long-winded at times, but his girlfriend's mother had lymphoma cancer, and she went through all the what I call the poisons. They did the chemo, they did the radiation, they did everything they could to her, and nothing worked. And my brother was helping people out where he lives, and so he said, they sent her home with hospice and said, sorry, it's over. You got this summer, get your affairs in order, enjoy your horses, and sorry, but there's nothing more we could do for you. So my brother's like, hold on a minute. I watched a video called Run from the Cure. And Run from the Cure is the story of a man called Rick Simpson. He's Canadian.
Yeah,
And
right, yeah.
And I suggest everybody go to YouTube later and watch Run from the Cure, and a lot more of this will make a lot more sense to people. So he watched the video and he saw how this guy Rick Simpson made this oil from the cannabis plant. So he did it exactly like he said. He made the oil, he gave it to his girlfriend's mother, and she all of a sudden was feeling better. And she went back to the doctor after 3 months, basically. And she walked in, doctor says, "What are you doing here?" And she says, "I feel better. I want some tests." And they said, "I never thought I'd see you again. When you walked through the door, I thought you were dead." She was a walking dead woman, you know?
Wow.
And they did the test. They came back, and she was like riddled with cancer, lymphoma cancer. She had a lymph node in her chest that was the size of a golf ball, and it was cancerous tumor. And after the test, they came back and said, "Sit down. We want to talk to you. What happened here?" And she told them what she did. And of course, you know, I'll catch crap from the oncologist out there, but whatever. They said, "Well, we can't condone what you did. And we don't, if you say that's what happened, that's what happened." And she's like, "I'm telling you, that's what happened." They said, "And by the way, that golf ball sized tumor in your chest is the size of a black shriveled up pea right now. It completely killed the cancer, killed the tumor and everything." So when I heard this and I saw what was going on, light bulbs just went off. And I says, wow, there's something to this. And I'm in a state where I can do this and it's legal. And I'm going to try to do this and try to help people. And I'm going to show them how to make the oil. I'm going to help them and go along, you know, do all this stuff. So I flew out to where he lives and made a batch with him, and he showed me how to do it, and I videotaped it. I came back to Colorado, and 5 years later, here I am, and I've cured almost 20 people of cancer. I've cured Lyme disease. I've Crohn's disease, 80% cured Crohn's disease, giving people their lives back to where they can have an actual functional life out in society. Insomnia. It cures insomnia. There's so many people that can't sleep and they're addicted to Ambien, and all that pharmaceutical junk destroys your liver, you know? And so there's so many benefits from it, and it's all natural.
We got Danny made the comment, said there was a little boy from North Carolina whose parents gave him cannabis oil for his seizures and nothing else would help. Which
absolutely true. Yeah, and I see that a lot. You know, you got to understand, nothing in this world's 100%. But the statistics on cannabis oil and cancer. Cannabis oil works 75% of the time. Chemotherapy only works 30% of the time. And out of that 30%, 25% of those people, it comes back 3 to 5 years later with a vengeance, and it kills them. You can't get rid of it. So, you know, it's all down to money. You follow the money. That's what it all comes down to. You go into an oncologist's office. I'm sorry?
I'm saying it's big business, though. Big
well, that's what I was just going to say. You go into that oncologist's waiting room and look at all them people sitting there waiting to see him. Do you know that on the average, every person sitting in that waiting room is an $800,000 payday, because that's what the insurance pays for those people to go from beginning to end in the chemotherapy world, and they pay it. So why wouldn't they, you know, push this stuff, you know? And I know I get a lot of pushback from them. And, you know, if an oncologist is out there and would like to debate with me, I would be more than happy to. And I'm not saying that chemotherapy doesn't work. It does work 30% of the time. But get this. Does anybody know where chemotherapy came from, where it was developed? Do you have any idea?
No.
Okay. So I'm not going to get raided by the feds. Oh, good. So, anyways, chemotherapy came from back when Hitler was running crazy, killing the Jews. He made something called mustard gas, and he was gas.
Yeah.
Right? So they had this byproduct and all this garbage left over after they created mustard gas. And some of it they didn't know what to do with, so they said, well, what do we do with this stuff? And they said, well, we got a whole bunch of guinea pigs over there. Shoot them up with it and see what happens. They were sadistic, but they're highly intelligent scientists. They come to find out when they would inject this stuff into the Jews, it was starting to kill cancer cells. So they ran with it, and that's where chemotherapy was developed and brought from. So they're using byproduct of mustard gas, injecting it into people, and that's where it comes from. So I think I would rather just go with the all-natural cannabis oil plant that's been put here. It's been around for thousands of years.
It's from the earth.
Yeah, that's what I was going to jump on. Me coming up, there was a big thing around like Genesis 1:29, where it talks about God gave us all of the herbs, that 4 seeds for healing and for food. So with that, what's the link? But the segue, what I wanted to kind of touch in with you is, since you're in this business and you're healing people, would you say that from a spiritual perspective that you've been given the gift of healing? Like, is operating in the gift of healing like your life calling? Would you?
I would have to say that, it does. It makes my soul happy. I mean, when somebody calls me and says, Rick, you're not going to believe it. I got my doctor's test today. Guess what they said? There is nothing better. I can't even put into words how my soul smiles and how I feel knowing that I helped somebody live the life now that they were meant to live, and it wasn't stolen from them from this disease. I mean, so it is definitely a gift, but it's a gift that if you apply yourself, you can do it too. Just have compassion for fellow man and help people. If say somebody, I know somebody wrote up here, aren't you afraid of getting raided by the feds? I'm not, because if you come here, you're allowed to do this, and I can show you how to make your oil. I can teach you how to do what I do. It's not rocket science. You just have to be careful and not blow your house up, So there's always that aspect,
Hey, Rick, so as far as treatment goes with your clients, do you have 100% success rate?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, it only works, like I said, 75% of the time. Now, there are times, so basically, I had a bunch of notes, but I know that's just to remind me of things that we're talking about. So what happens is most people that have cancer, the protocol is 60 milliliters in 90 days or less has to be consumed, okay? A lot of times, there's people who consume that in 90 days, but they go back to their test and they still have cancer. So they got to keep going and keep doing another round. Now, prostate cancer is one of the hardest ones to kill. And I've gone through with people 3 rounds before it actually killed the cancer. They really had to just keep going. Now, on the other hand, I had one lady, she had, I want to say it was lymphoma cancer, or no, throat cancer. And in 40 days, she was completely cured already. She continued to do it, but she went back for a test and it was all gone. It already had eaten the cancer and killed it. So now everybody metabolizes differently.
Now,
so how?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Well,
go ahead, Ron.
I wasn't there somebody just recently that had colon cancer. Right?
Yeah. that was one that, just 3 days ago, actually, I got news that she had colon cancer. And what they did is they took out a section of her colon, the worst part of it, under surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do this, they want you to go straight into chemo, straight into the radiation. And she decided, I'm not doing that. And they told her, well, you run a great risk of, you're going to die. It's coming back and you got to do this. And this is what you got to do. But she chose not to. And she went, she did what I asked her to do. She stuck to it. We're, line by line, did everything. And we'll get into it, but it's more than just taking the oil. Diet is a huge thing. But she did everything she wanted. She's in her late 70s, and she did everything that I told her to do. And she went back in and she got her test results back, and she's cancer-free, And she had 3 little polyps there. I believe they're scars. Most of the time it's scarring, and they just err on the side of caution. But she's completely cured now. It's I don't discount any doctors. Doctors are great. All pharmaceutical drugs are not bad. I'm not one of those people that are just anti everything, but I would say cannabis oil is the way to go when it comes to certain diseases and ailments.
All right. Go ahead, Dorian, with your question.
I mean, just kind of listening to this, and I'm trying not to be emotional about it. So I'm a cancer survivor of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then my wife just recently passed away due to colon cancer complications. And this is really distressing because it's hard enough to.
Go ahead, take your time.
Take your time, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Again, if you all have any questions or comments that you want to ask here on, we'll talk with Mr. Rick Upleger about cannabis oil. We talk about the benefits of it, and again, I know some folks are on the CBD oil or so as well. And again, this is not the cure-all for everything, but as he said, certain diseases, especially ones like this, it has help.
I didn't see some of the comments coming up. Were there some comments so far? Did somebody have something to say? I missed it.
No, just Carlos was talking about for us concerning big business. People like you definitely being a threat because it's all about the monies and things like that. And so that's all they care about.
I always joke that I go up to the mountains and go skiing, and I always joke if I end up going over the cliff because my brakes went out, you'll know why. It wasn't the ice; it was something else.
Oh, okay. Terrence says, unfortunately, we are a nation where medicine is proposed to is its purpose to treat symptoms instead of cure any disease. There is no money in curing the sick. That is true.
Exactly right. There is no money in a cure. You want repeat customers. You want repeat business,
long-time customers.
Exactly. And it's so funny, the pharmaceutical industry, they'll give you, so you watch on TV, you'll see an advertisement for a drug to fix something. What half of the commercial? What it'll cause? What are the side effects?
Yeah.
And for every side effects, they got a pill for it.
Another pill. So you end up with a whole bunch of pills that create other side effects.
Right. And the side effects are worse than the original symptoms sometimes.
It's like they're slowly killing you anyhow. But we're going to get every last dime out of you, Quiet Storm. Every last dime out of you.
Every last dime.
Before you're gone. Hey, Rick, let me ask you something. What kind of research has gone to exploring what is it about cannabis oil that's effective against these particular diseases than the treatments that we're currently dealing with?
Well, there's been a lot of research and study put on it, and what they did, it was back in the Carter and Nixon days when they were trying to prove that it was evil. They tried to prove that reefer madness was real.
I remember seeing that in college.
That's one of the funniest videos you've ever seen. I mean, if you want to look at it from a humorous side, it was kind of sad what they were doing. They were trying to actually demonize it, because if the jazz players and the black man smoked it, he'd rape white women and it was like all this. It was ridiculous, and it's mind-boggling to go watch Reefer Madness now. But in the Carter era, in the Nixon era, they tried to prove that it was true and real. Okay, so that what happened was they found just the opposite. They said, we can't find anything bad about this. You can't die from it. You can't overdose on it. The only way you're going to die from marijuana is a big old bale fall off of a roof and land on your head and break your neck. You get sick, or it might make you really high, but there are no negative side effects. Nobody in history has died from overdosing on marijuana. I don't care what people say. They can make up every kind of story they want. It ain't going to happen. So, so what happened with those studies that they did is they put them under lock and key. And they said, this should never reach the light of day. Well, now time has gone on, and the Right to Know Act, I forget what they call that, where they can open up the files now and read it. They're finding all this stuff out that wasn't true. And
you know what, Rick, I want to again thank you all those for sending prayers to Dorian again. This is definitely a sensitive subject, and I can kind of understand his point where he's coming from. He just lost his wife, and we've all lost some loved ones due to these types of cancers that Rick has talked about, and find out, okay, there's a cure that was there, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? So basically,
or even just that it was an alternative that no one really put a lot of weight behind, saying, hey, try this.
And they couldn't and they pretty much left before their time. Like, they basically didn't have to die.
They didn't have to die. Yeah. Right. So that's what I was texting Dorian here when he got off. He's definitely not all right, because with his wife Laura, I mean, it's still fresh, you know what I'm saying? Like last week it was their anniversary. And she passed, just a few months ago. But I just remember standing with them and believing with them as they were going through the different treatments, the radiations, the chemo with her, and for her passing away. And I remember him sharing with me a few months, like she even started trying like the CBD oil and things like that. But one of the points is, like, here we're in North Carolina, and what you're talking about is basically illegal here. And so that's one of those things that's on the table. Like, man, there could have been something to help my wife stay alive, or there could have been an alternative for me.
Right.
But it's illegal in my state. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I remember even when Dorian himself was going through the cancer phase, just some of the chemo and things they was doing that literally made him sicker. But I'm like, if we knew about these options, if they were legal, maybe people won't have to go through these things, man. And it causes us to it goes back to us, politics, voting, like, who do we have in office? Who do we have representing us? And coming back down to that dollar bill, man. So
absolutely. And that is so sad to hear. I'm very sorry about that. I had no idea, even coming into the show, that somebody on the panel here would be dealing with this kind of thing. It's really sad what our government knows.
Right.
It's a real crime. It's a crime to know that they know that this is real, and that pharmaceuticals company owns our government. I don't care which side of the aisle you sit on. They all know it, and they all take that money, and they're bought and paid for. Do you know that, get this, and I'm sure a lot of people out there know, that cannabis is a Schedule I drug, along with heroin, cocaine, all these other killer drugs. They put weed up there with that. Come on.
Yeah. I had picked that a while back. You know, like how did they get grouped in with all of these other narcotics? You know what I'm saying? That are we can see the impact of heroin, we can see the impact of crack cocaine, but you know what I'm saying? Like I've never seen marijuana have that, even in recreational use, have that impact on someone.
That's what
they forgot about the impact that it has.
It's never killed anyone. And all them other drugs, all the opioids and all that stuff, people use cannabis to wean themselves off of the opioid addictions, and the oil and everything like that helps people with alcoholism and all different kinds of things. And for them to still have it as a Schedule I drug is a crime. And these are the things that people need to know and understand, and go to your congressman, go to people. It's catching on. You know, we have gained a lot of traction in the world, in the United States and the world, about all of this. So I'm just saying that, you know, these are the kind of things that need to be looked at and dealt with. You know, like the chemotherapy, let's just say, it causes 7 different kinds of cancer. Why would you do that? It's like one of those disclaimers on that commercial I'm talking about. It also causes 7 different kinds of cancers. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Again, guys, if you all, anyone watching, if you want to you know, comment or you know, any questions that you would like to ask Mr. Rick Upleger, so you know, concerning cannabis oil. All right. Yeah, this is definitely heartbreaking here, just to know this here's an alternative that could really help cure thousands of people. But you know, again, as Ron said, you know, in certain states it's illegal. And I put the map up there. Rick, how many states is it illegal and how many are legal?
Well, right now, there are only 3 states that it is completely illegal in. Every other state has it legal or decriminalized in one form or another. It could be medical, it could be recreational, or decriminalized. And most of the states that are medical, it's decriminalized for, I think there's like 19 states that have it decriminalized where it's legal medically. So you're not going to get in trouble for having it. It's like a misdemeanor. You know, you get a slap on the wrist.
North Carolina. I'm looking at this map. North Carolina's in gray. What does that mean?
That one, I don't know where that came from. It's an older map.
Yeah, that's probably an older map. Yeah. All right. Well,
I looked just the other day and I found one that showed only 3 of the states in gray now. So,
okay.
Also, Ron, I just wanted to say that somebody texted me, your old friend Jeff Parker from back in the day.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah. He said that he can't comment. He's watching, but he doesn't know how to comment. So I don't know how all that works, but maybe there's others out there trying to comment that don't know how. I don't know.
Where's he commenting at?
Yeah, is he on
Facebook, YouTube?
Facebook.
Where's
He's on Facebook, probably, maybe looking at it on my page. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, probably just go and just click on the video, and then you can just post a comment on there. So it's yeah, pretty much all I could tell him. I mean, yeah, it's yeah.
I don't know if there's a trick to it or not. I'm not familiar with this whole format.
I think you have to come out of the full screen though. So if he has it on the full screen, you can't comment. But if you sort of click it again, it should minimize a little bit, and then you should see the comments.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah, my buddy. Oh man, Jeff. Awesome.
I figured you'd like that. Look at that smile.
Man.
But anyways, I know we're kind of just letting the show flow here, and you brought up a thing about the thing that about CBD. She was trying to take CBD oil. Now, CBD oil is good for certain things. It has good qualities, and a lot of it comes from hemp. The best CBD oil, and these are my opinions from what I have studied on, CBD oil from cannabis is better than hemp. That's like the progression of it, because each of them have it. That's why they outlawed both of them for a long time because law enforcement can't tell the difference between the cousins. They're cousins in the plant family. They look at it. Yeah, they're cops. They're like, yeah, that's a pot plant. It's milk. They're making rope out of it, whatever. So the CBD oil and I've got a list of things that, the benefits of it are anti-inflammatory. It helps with anxiety. It helps with depression, seizures, and one of the good things it does is it helps you when you're doing high doses of the cannabis oil. It makes you high, and we'll get into the different phases of THC and why it makes you high. But CBDs brings that high down so you can handle it during the protocol of curing cancer or whatever disease you're in. Okay,
you're saying they work well together. CBD and THC, they work well together.
Yes, because what you need and like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there that are gaining benefits from just CBD oil with 0.03 THC in it, because that's the legal amount of THC nationwide. Every state has it legal for CBD oil. Okay. But you have to be careful with that stuff because a lot of those companies are putting byproducts in it. They're just putting all these different oils in it, and it's kind of diluted, and it's just you're really not even getting a lot of CBDs, and
like flavors and stuff like that, more recreational type stuff.
Yeah, and it's designer thing for you. It doesn't. It's not even a recreational thing. It doesn't make you high. It doesn't give you any euphoric feeling. It's it's okay. There's a lot to this, so we'll get into some of this.
So you basically use this marketing employees. You're saying
yes, and that's what they're doing. They're just marketing it, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off. A lot of multi-level marketers are out there. Anybody ever tells you if you buy from me, you'll be in my downline, and I'll move to silver level, and you'll be able to get people under you. Run from that stuff, Yeah. Find a good, reputable, and read reviews. Read what's going on with the product you're looking at online to order CBDs, okay? Because CBD oil does have benefits. And like we talked earlier about, the Charlotte's Web and the seizures, and somebody had commented about their kid had seizures and they gave him the oil and it helped him, okay? Right. So it does have a lot of good benefits if you're getting pure good CBDs. But so what happens is our bodies, CBD stands for cannabinoids. Okay, if somebody doesn't know, that's what cannabinoids are. CBD is just easier to say, just like THC is
it's that long word.
Long word.
Yeah, but it's and sometimes I forget. I get all mixed up. But
yes, we could try to help you out.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is there is a difference between cannabis oil and
tetrahydrocannabinol.
Yeah. It's tetrahydrocannabinol. Okay. Yeah. Tetrahydrocannabinol. Cannabinol is a CBD. It is a cannabinoid. So that's part of the plant. So these are kind of elementary, but it's just easier to say CBD, THC. So that's where that comes from. Okay.
Awesome.
So what happens is our body has a endocannabinoid system in it. All right. So what our endocannabinoid system does is creates our own cannabinoids, our own CBDs. And what that does, that feeds your immune system. It builds your immune system. So you want to take that in. When they outlawed all of this back in the 30s, they took away the ability to have it in our food, our, you know, the food for cattle. They used to put hemp seed in all the cattle food, and it was like, in turn, it got into us. When we eat food, it was in it, and it would feed our endocannabinoid system. Have you noticed, like back in the 1900s, you don't see a whole lot of cancer. You don't hear about a whole lot of cancer problems back then. Fast forward to now, we're all cannabinoid deficient. We don't get enough in us, and our immune systems are compromised, and we're getting sick, and then we're getting disease. The best thing you can do for yourself is take 1 drop of cannabis oil every night to build your immune system. My mom and dad are in their 70s. They take 1 drop every night, and it helps them sleep. It builds their immune system, and you don't get sick as often. And if you do catch a cold, you're 3-4 days, you're back on your feet, you're ready to go. So
let me ask you this quick question. Is there like a form that's more frowned upon? Like, you don't recommend like actually smoking marijuana or doing like the brownies and stuff like that? Is it more so you make this oil, you take the oil in I guess a very small amount, and over time this is just sort of cures you. So yeah. I guess, like, is it just the oil form? Like, should we be smoking this stuff or putting it in brownies? Like, what's up with that?
That's a great question. That's a very good question, because, and I know people will get mad at me, but CBD oil and smoking weed is not going to cure anything. It will not cure anything. The only thing that's going to cure a disease is cannabis oil taken in this form, and depending on what you're trying to achieve will determine how much of this you need, how much you need to take it, and how long. So you have to know how much you're taking, because you can make a tray of brownies and you can put a whole bunch of weed in there and you can eat it.
Love you some brownies.
You don't know how much you got, and you're going to be walking on the moon for a week. You know, you want to do that. You got to know what you're doing, man. You got to know kind of what's going on. It's like here in Colorado, right? You can go down to the dispensary and you can buy chocolate bars. I wouldn't sit down and eat that whole thing like a chocolate.
Hey,
you will not do well.
So I'm saying, like, even with your product, can you make like some canna butter with that and make some edibles that be
yes,
productive?
You can. Canna butter is a good thing. That's what people bake with. That's the way to make it, you know, to make brownies and stuff like that.
Right.
It's more, I want to say, from what I see, it's more recreational. It does have benefits. It is going to see, what it does is when it goes into you, it runs through your body and kills all the free radicals. The free radicals are things that are in your body that make you sick. And if your immune system isn't up to par, those free radicals are going to make you sick. So you taking that drop every night is going to kill free radicals and keeps you from being sick and build your immune system. And, you know, people always go, how can that one little drop, and the drop is the size of a long grain rice. That's how much you take. That's all.
Wow.
And you'll feel it. And some people say, how can that little bit do anything for me? How is that helping my whole body? You know, I weigh 200 pounds. How's that going to help me? I said, well, if I gave you a drop of cyanide that big, would you take it? That stuff's going to kill you.
Oh, Rick.
So
wow.
It's all in moderation. That's what I'm saying. You know, microdosing, moderation, when it just comes to being on a maintenance dose. See, people like us that aren't sick, and, you know, we would like to do a maintenance dose. Now, somebody like yourself that had cancer, you should be on a maintenance dose of about 2 to 3 drops a day to keep the beast away. That's what you should be doing. And it's good for you to stay on that, so that it doesn't come back and bother you. You don't want cancer coming back. So if you got on the cannabis oil, its job is to go in there and seek out those cancer cells. And what it does, I have a video of under a microscope. I found it online. I sent it to Ron there, and it shows one side of the slide with cancer cells and regular cells going around, and you watch cancer cells eat healthy cells. Then when cannabis oil is introduced into the slide, all of a sudden, the cancer cells just go crazy. They get all crazy, and they attack each other, and they start eating each other, and they commit suicide. It causes them to kill each other. And the other cells just keep swimming around happy as can be. So that's what it does. It's
again, we're talking with Rick Upleger here, all right, on the Royal Rhetoric Culture Kings. If you got any questions or comments, so this has definitely been a tough issue here. Again, thank you all for the prayers for Dorian. He's back, and it's just that we definitely understand your pain, brother, and again, a lot of the lives that have been lost due to this here, and there was an alternative, and just like kind of basically gone too soon. And as I like what Danny said earlier, man. I said marijuana being classified as a class 1 drug was an attempt to ensure a higher prison population. Prisoners are the lowest paid workers in America, and big businesses love them. That's very good. Yeah, exactly. That's that conspiracy theory that I totally agree with that. Yes, go Rick. Okay, hey, this one of your friends on there, Rick. So
I just let somebody in the Culture Kings. So they might be them.
Okay, awesome. Again, any questions that you all may have, feel free to go ahead on and post them or comments, because we're here to help educate the culture here. And yes, now I guess the main issue is with the legalities or so, and just because I kind of look at it as gun control, to where if you're owning a firearm or so, you want to be in right standings, and so definitely check with your state for sure. Okay.
Yes, I tell everybody that. Check your state, and if it's legal medically, get your medical card. Just get it and have that to where you're safe. I'm not telling you to break the law, but I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So I'm just somebody who, I know that this is going to save me, and that stuff might not. So I'm gonna, with somebody that. So,
quick question for you though. So, like, as far as like making the oil, are there any type of certifications needed for like making the oil? If you wanted to sell the oil, whatever, is there like certifications, licenses, or anything you need to?
Yes, if you're into selling it, in a business, they have regulations. They have licenses, and you have to be certified, and you have to have a license to grow and sell and things like that if you're doing that on the open market, let's say. So if any of you wanted to make it, like if you lived in Colorado, it is legal for you to have 6 plants of your own you can grow in your house. And if there's 2 adults, you get 12 plants. Okay. Wow. So you can grow your own, and you can make your own medicine. It's perfect.
Wow.
And you don't even need a license for that. Now, my deal, because I have a high plant count medical card, because I have bad wrist, bad knees, and a bad back. And somebody just put up arthritis. So all the years I've been working, doing my job, I've destroyed my knees, crawling around, and my wrist and stuff. So arthritis is it's setting in, so you take the oil, it's an anti-inflammatory. The THC in it is the pain reliever. So you make your own oil, And then, and like I said, if you go to Run from the Cure, he shows how to make the oil on that video. So anybody can go check that out on YouTube. So in saying all of that, what you want are all the cannabinoids and the THCs that are in it. Now I'll tell you what the 2 THCs are in a minute. When you combine all of that together, that's called the entourage effect. Okay? You want the entourage effect because all of it works in conjunction with each other to help what's going on inside of you. And your body knows where it needs to go. If you've got cancer cells hiding over in your liver, it's going in there and chewing them up. If you've got arthritis, it's going to help your arthritis. Anything. It's amazing. I've helped people with brain cancer, liver cancer, throat cancer, tumors. Tumors are the easy thing to get. Tumors are easy because a tumor has to eat. It needs to feed, right? So what you do is you take, there's these capsules. They're, wrong side. They're empty gel caps, and they're empty, and you open them up, and what you do is you put the 1 drop in there of the cannabis oil, and then you put, or however many drops you're using, and then you put, for tumors, you use extra virgin olive oil, okay? And the olive oil looks like food to the cancer. It needs to eat. So it acts like a Trojan horse. So as it eats it, it draws it in. And now, just for simplicity, the cannabis oil sticks to the inside of the tumor. And now it's being eaten from the inside and the outside. And it destroys the tumor, and it makes it irritated. And sometimes they look like they get bigger, and all of a sudden they implode. And they just shrivel away and die. So that's the easy side of treating people with cancer. The tumors just go, So I know I get off on little tangents, and
that's all right. Hey, matter of fact,
there.
Matter of fact, you got some compliments here as well. Say that you've helped somebody's children and many children as well, for us with your work and everything, man. And I guess they were talking about as far as arthritis being set in both knees from surgery, and this oil help, and they no longer have pain in their knees. So
that's
wow,
exactly right. And what's funny, I was going to save this for later, and this is fun. I make a cream now, right? It has the cannabinoids in it and whatnot, but it has a lot of different things. And again, my brother basically turned me on to the formula, and now I make something called Icy Pot. You see that?
Icy Pot.
Wow. Not icy hot, but icy pot.
Exactly. So this is a topical cream that has a lot of menthol in it and a whole bunch of other good stuff for arthritis and pain relief. That's legal everywhere. That's like CBD stuff. That stuff is, you can contact me about that, and I'll help you out with some of that stuff.
Hey, now Dorian had a question there.
Absolutely.
Or a comment.
Well, it wasn't so much about a question. It was, and I was still listening while I had to get off a little bit, and I appreciate what Will was saying. For those people like myself who, not only was I a cancer survivor, but like the treatment, and also my wife. This is kind of distressing, like to hear about the alternatives, and because cancer, excuse my French, man, that shit hurt. I mean, like the treatment kills you to make you better, and for the duration of time that most people are scheduled to have treatment, it's hard on the body, and it's hard on the families. It's hard on your friends, and so like to know that there's an alternative, because at some point, like even Laura, for example, like there was just a point where everything was an option. There was there was no, I don't want to do this anymore. And me being an advocate for her, I had to like bypass all of my feelings to continue on in the fight for that, because all we know is life. Like nobody knows what death is like. And so when we fight for life, we're fighting for those things that are tangible to us, that are real to us, and to know again that, you know, your numbers in regards to 70%. I mean, that's more than half. That's more than half, and I'm just, it causes me to be emotional because like, and a lot of people know, like when I was going through the cancer treatment, when I would go to the cancer center, cancer didn't have like a delegated party. Like it was everybody. It'd be black people, white people, old, young, you know, man, woman. It didn't have a specific person to go after. And I consider myself not just blessed, but fortunate, because there would be one week I would go and I would see somebody, and then the next week you wouldn't.
Right.
There would be so many people. I know that if there were, you know, like if we had the options here in this state to have an alternative treatment, one that wasn't going to make you sick, like it would, I know a lot of people would try it. We had our own experience with CBD in regards to appetite. And just to lighten it up a little bit, I went hiking in the mountains a couple months before Laura passed, and I twisted both of my ankles on the way down. And which, you know, it was my feet, but the rocks didn't know that. But the people that I went with, they got me the CBD ointment, pretty much like your icy pot.
Yeah, exactly.
And man, like it took away the inflammation, it took away the pain. I was back walking the next day, because typically, I mean, like the people who grew up with me know, like when I twist an ankle, like it's a break. You know what I mean? Like I done broke my foot. Most people when you twist one ankle, like if I twist two, it's a wrap for me. So yeah, I definitely have experienced a lot of the benefits of it, and but I mean, it's just really for lack, you know, again, it's just really distressing, man, to know that there are other alternatives out there that we could be, you know, like most people could try,
right,
if it was available.
And it should be on the table with everything else.
Yeah.
Right, man. I mean, because it's I mean, when you talked about the way that the body basically has its own form of THC, and we're deficient.
Right.
Those kind of statements resonate to a higher populace, because it's not just cancer. We're talking about every type of body process that is connected with disease or an infirmity. You know, Will spoke earlier about like the spiritual side, and you know, the scripture says, "Physician, heal thyself." And here it is. We have an opportunity to use something that could actually help us to heal.
Yeah.
It also talks about the anointing oil. I honestly believe that this was part of that.
Wow.
You know?
Hey,
Speak now, Rick.
Yeah,
Let
Rick.
the spirit use you, Rick. Let him use you.
Man, hey, wow. Again,
that's a lot of good points. Very good points. And it's things like this forum that helps bring it to the attention
Jeff.
of a lot of people, you know, the people that don't really understand what's going on, and knowing that all these things can be not only, you know, helped, but cured and healed, and using this stuff is just, isn't this crazy? Now, this is crazy. If you were to have cancer and came to Colorado and stayed at my house, and I made this oil for you, you can take it and live and get cured and go back home to where it's illegal.
Wow.
What is wrong with
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We just need to stop the political games and get on with this. Okay,
right.
Reschedule it as a Schedule 3 drug. Fine. So is aspirin. Whatever. But get it away from calling it heroin and cocaine and putting it up there with that garbage. It's not that. And that's what's disheartening.
And then what's crazy about it too, all right, if people could be losing their jobs if they have random drug tests. Say if a person is on that, I mean, it's like,
that's a good
That's
point.
hard.
Do you know what I hear? And this is so sad when I hear this. When people call me and they want to talk to me about it, hey, I've got cancer. I need to know what's going on. I want to do the oil, and and I go through everything with them, and I run down the list, and we go over everything. And in the end, it always comes down to, well, how much will it cost me? And that's just one thing. But then the other thing is, will I test positive for THC? I go, absolutely. You are about to blast your system so full of THC that you will send those tests off the chart. And you know what they say? I can't do that because my job tests for THC and I'm at stage 4 cancer and I'll lose my insurance. How sad is that?
That is sad.
And I think in my head, I can't say it because I don't want to be insensitive, but
right.
That you're going to probably die and your job will be filled the next week and they won't care about you. Again,
right.
I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I would go for it. I would say, you know what? That insurance ain't going to do nothing but pay for poison, and I don't want to go there. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody who has been through this or has actually been through the chemo and actually lived, because I said it works 30% of the time. I'm not saying, oh, it's all garbage and it doesn't work, but the side effects and what you had to go through, Dorian, and your treatment and everything you went through is, I can't even imagine having to go through all of that and deal with that when this is no walk in the park. This stuff is potent, and what happens is you try to work yourself up to 1 milliliter a day, and you are on the moon. You're sleeping 18 hours a day, but your body needs to sleep 18 hours a day while doing this treatment. But in about 40 days, in 60 days, you break through to the other side, is what I call it, to where you're not feeling that high and kind of out of it all the time and wanting to sleep. All of a sudden, your body has built up a tolerance to it to where you can go back to work. Some people go off and they just go driving, they live their life and they're fine and they just continue on. It doesn't make you high anymore, and it's always different for different people. But what you want to do is you work yourself up to one of these every day. This is where you're going. And it's 1 milliliter. So I know that, it's hard to see or understand that, but if you can put that in these capsules, and that's what you do. You got to put that inside of these and take it, and you're taking, you start out at 1 drop 3 times a day for 4 days. And every day, every 4 days, you double. So you go 1, 2, 4, 8, and then when you get to 12, that equals 1 milliliter. And that's what you work yourself up to. So every 4 days, you're increasing. I'm a wimp. I take 1 drop, 3 hours later, I'm like, I got to go to bed. And that's on 1 drop. I can't even imagine what these poor people, I can't imagine, because one time I tried a 12-drop capsule. That was not a good night. That was bad. Very, very bad for me. I had to sleep downstairs. Okay, we're all men here. This is what happened. I had to take the remote control, give it to my wife. I can't run the TV. So that's how bad it was.
Wow.
He got laid out.
Again, anybody got any questions or comments in the comment section? Feel free. All right, I know we're going over a little bit or so, but we just feel led to.
But Rick, before we get off, let me ask you this. So, as with anything that you start, you should have a plan to get out. So, what is the plan that you develop to help people, or is there a plan to where they go from maintenance to winning themselves off?
Okay, that's a very good question. So the protocol is 60 milliliters, 6 of these in 90 days or less. Okay, so you do that. Let's say you go back, all your tests come back all clear. Now, for the rest of your life, you have to take a maintenance dose of 3 drops a day, and it won't even affect you at that point. Your tolerance levels have been raised so high, it'll be like me eating a baby aspirin. It's not even going to affect me. Okay? It's just like if you got a heart transplant, a liver transplant, or lung transplant, they put you on anti-rejection drugs for the rest of your life. It's the same thing. You're taking that maintenance dose to keep cancer away, but you're also building your immune system. You're fighting off any sicknesses. You're staying healthy with that. That's your dose. Now, a maintenance dose for anybody else, like myself, 1 drop every night before bed. 3 hours before bed, you take it, you sleep better than you ever did. Some people, like this person here, 2 drops worked for him. Everybody metabolizes differently. I always say more is better. If you can handle more of the oil, you should take it because your body can use it. If I take more than a drop, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd just be like so groggy and so out of it until after I had a couple cups of coffee and got going, and I'd still have fog. I don't like that. So I always tell everybody, get your dosage and your timing down. Know how much to take and how early to take it, so in the morning you don't feel it. So I hope that answered your question.
So there are side effects, right? That's what I'm hearing.
There are side effects, yeah.
There are side effects, and starting off, I mean, you may not even really be functional starting off. Is that what I'm hearing?
In just the maintenance dose?
Yeah.
No, you take it at night.
No, I'm talking about treatment. Like you doing
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's all different kinds of things that go on. Your mind is playing games on you. You're all kind of wacky, you know. You think Osama bin Laden's there to steal your shoelaces, and you believe it. You know, if somebody's in the garage stealing the car, and you know
a lot of rabbits and stuff too, right?
Hallucinations.
So, you know, I know we're going long here. Maybe we should do another show about it because I didn't even get into what makes THC that's psychoactive. It's the heat. It's called decarboxylation. And when you heat it and you cook it to make the oil, I didn't even get into any of that. When you smoke it, when you put fire to it, that creates the decarboxylation and it turns it into delta 9s, and that's what makes it psychoactive, and that's what makes you high. If you were to eat a whole bag of weed just raw, it wouldn't do anything to you. You wouldn't get high. It wouldn't make you. You've got to heat it. And when you cook those brownies you were talking about, you're putting it in the oven.
Yeah, you release it.
It converted it.
You release it.
So, you know, there's all these different things. I mean, I don't know if anybody's interested. Maybe I don't know. I didn't even see. I saw some of the comments going by. I know somebody on here. I know I cured and helped their children with Lyme disease. They fought it for years. Didn't know what to do, and they did the cancer protocol, the 60 milliliters in 90 days. She came out the other side and now doesn't have all the Lyme disease problems she dealt with her whole life. And her brother was the same way. And it's just amazing what this stuff does, you know? And I haven't even touched on it all. So I'm sorry I went long.
No, man, you're good, man. Yeah, we definitely got to bring you back during our next season. So for sure, to definitely talk about this.
Yeah, this was some good stuff, Rick.
It was.
Yes, thank you, man.
Like
wow.
I said, you know, tonight was just a let's get introduced to what's the difference between the CBDs and THC and the cannabinoids and the the cannabis oil. So
he'll be sending you a friend's request.
I think I got a lot of friends out there, And that's one thing. You know what? Let's do this. I just want to throw this out there. If anybody's listening, just message me on Facebook. I try to keep my friends list down. And like we said before, you were asking me, how did I stay locked down? If you message me, I'll go back and forth with you. I'll be happy to talk to you. We can talk on the phone if you want. I want to help people, and I want to help people understand if they're still confused about some of this stuff. Let's do another show, or let's just talk on the phone, whatever you guys want to do. I'm here. I'm sure that's my wife upstairs.
Yeah, that's
cut my hair today and it look good,
Yeah, man, because Rick used to have a lot of long hair back in the day. I'm like, man. Oh, wow.
Rick got that Corona cut, man. You got the Corona kitchen cut.
Man, I've never seen his head like that, man.
He definitely had to bring you back and talk about your friendship with Vince Neil and the Motley Crue because
geez, yeah, all the music
people. I watched the movie on the Motley Crue, The Dirt. I felt like the media and the whole world owe hip hop an apology because those rock guys back then.
You got that right, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny that I lived in Nashville and I met a lot of people, and like I said, the music industry, and it was all the glam bands, the '80s hair bands and stuff like that. A lot of them I'm helping, very famous people. I'm not going to mention any names, but they come to me and I help them with their kids, their wives, themselves. You got to remember, all those guys from the 80s are now in their 60s. They're 6 years, and they got arthritis. They're still out there rocking and rolling, but they got aches and pains. So they call me Dr. Feelgood. They all know me,
Feel good.
I can feel good. But look, Rick, man, we sure appreciate you coming on here, Rick, man. It's, wow, great information, great show. Again, guys, if you all are interested, make sure you inbox Rick. Okay, Rick Upleger, that's his name right there. Find him on Facebook. Yes. Again, this is some real stuff going on, and if you got questions, I'm sure he would definitely love to talk with you. So, Rick, any last words, real quick?
You know what? I just want to say thank you to all of you for inviting me on your format. I know it's primarily a Christian Black forum, and it's wider than this, but I think.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, not intentionally.
Yeah. I love the fact that you're open to educating people on. It's just not let's go buy a dime bag or a nickel bag on the corner and get high. It's so far beyond this, and you've got the guts to step up and put this out there to show people that this is real. This is medicine. This is, and like I said before, if you're into getting high and it's legal in your state, do what you want. I'm not a judge. I don't care. It's up to you. But there is medical benefits to all of this and many other things out there. And just educate yourself and just read and separate the BS from the truth if you can. And if you can't, I'm here to try to help you sort through all that.
Awesome, man. Right. Hey, Dorian, go ahead, man.
No, I was as we're wrapping up here, man. I definitely appreciate everyone's participation in this show today. As our intent is that everything that we do, that we speak to the points that will give you an idea, so that you continue the conversation. And then the other thing too is that we are intentional about being on purpose. So this conversation, as with all the other conversations that we have, fit that bill. So we appreciate not only Rick coming on, but also our viewers and listeners.
Yes.
That we thank you for being here on purpose and being intentional about learning, and also having something to share.
Right. Hey man, awesome. Yeah, go ahead, William.
Hey, I'm gonna save all of my stuff for when Rick comes back, because this was an awesome show, man. And I do want to get deeper into this. I think we just sort of scratched the surface.
Right.
And this is a conversation that we need to have, especially in the Christian community too, because you know, there's some options out there, and there's a stigma behind this, the cannabis and all. So we need to address that. So cool, good stuff, man.
Awesome. Ron,
Yeah,
stop.
I appreciate you saying
Okay.
that, because you know the people who are more receptive to what I say and what I do for people are people usually 50 and older. Isn't it funny? The older generation, 70s and 80s, are more into what I'm doing for them than younger people that are like, oh, you're full of it. Go smoke another joint. Tell me how you that's your opinion.
Right.
Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, in the words of Cat Williams, he just confirmed don't smoke nothing with no nickname. All right. Real stuff. Just cause it say CBD, do you some research and find out what you're actually putting in your body.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Man, awesome. Wow. Well, hey, look, I just want to say, Rick, thank you so much, man. It's good to see you after 30 years. Hey, Jeff, I see that you're on. It just showed you as a Facebook user, but man, hey, I'm definitely reconnecting with you out there, and great information. Of course, we're going to have you back. You know, I thank God for your life and everything that you're doing. Keep pushing and doing what God has called you to do. All right. And again, hey, all things unfortunately must come to an end, but God's love never ends. Remember, you matter in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God's called you to do, and you'll be just fine. You all be safe out there. Thank you for tuning in to Culture Kings. Go subscribe to all of our social media channels. We're on YouTube and everything else out there. Yes, hey, what's up? Hey, my man Jeff. Man, we had some great times. Wow, man, this is good to reconnect. But yes, go and follow us, Culture Kings, Royal Rhetoric. All right. Hey, God bless y'all. You all be safe. We're gonna let Ron go and watch his Cowboys get beat by the Rams. So
Man, he probably gonna put no heat to that stuff, Ron. Are you paying attention?
yeah, because you know football season is back. So yes, all right, go Dolphins, baby. All right, then. Hey, God bless.